Welcome to Keto Meals and Recipes.com. Today I will demonstrate how to make these absolutely delicious, sugar-free, gluten-free yakitori or Japanese chicken skewers. I know that there are many versions of chicken kebabs or chickens on a skewer. Some I have made and posted, like my Mediterranean chicken kebabs or keto teriyaki kebabs, and I also posted Greek chicken souvlaki with garlic aioli. By the way, the links for any video that I mention will be posted in the description box, as well as the formatted printable recipe, which can be translated into many languages. So go down there to check it out. Anyway, today I will share with you this adapted Japanese recipe because when it comes to chicken kebabs or chickens on a stick, I think this is an especially easy one to make, and it's absolutely delicious and you have to try it. I hope that you will stay to the end of this video because I'm going to indulge in one of my passions, which is talking about the origin or food history of the recipe, like in today's video, the yakitori. I will also explain the different kinds of yakitori that are served in Japan today. But today I will only show you how to make the most popular yakitori version, which inspired this video, which we enjoyed while in Tokyo. This particular version is called, pardon my pronunciation, Negima Yakitori or chicken thigh and scallion skewers seasoned with tara, or in this video's case, my homemade keto teriyaki sauce and glaze. When making this yakitori, to make it as authentic as possible, the type of skewers that are usually used are made from bamboo, which I'm going to use instead of my regular metal skewers. This type of skewer is called tipogushi. Again, I apologize, which means gun skewers because of its shape. You'll notice the end of each of these skewers is tapered to have a flat tab section. This makes it much easier to pick up and turn the yakitori. Also, this flat end prevents the yakitori from rolling when you're grilling it, because by not rolling, you'll have a more even grill on both sides. Although these Japanese chicken skewers or yakitori look very impressive, I want to assure you these are easy to make at home and exceptionally budget friendly, especially if you take the time to make your own healthy sugar-free teriyaki sauce and glaze. And also, if you buy the whole chicken thigh with skin and bone on, you can use the leftover skin to make chicken skins, which I will show you in another video. And also these little thigh bones, when collected together, are especially good when you want to make a really fabulous homemade Italian chicken soup. And you don't have to use them right away. Just put them in containers, label them, and store them in the freezer until you have enough. Now the macronutrient ratio for each one of the full yakitori skewers is 0.6 to 1, with only 1.2 grams of total carbs, 0.3 grams of dietary fiber, resulting in 0.9 grams of net carbs, and only 153 calories per entire skewer. Of course, this is part of a meal, so this would be the protein portion of it, and that's why the ratio is so low. And you can add any side dish that you would like to make this a complete and healthy meal. Here are some of the side dishes I made the last time I made yakitori. Now let's get started with this recipe. As I said, you have to do some of the pre-grill steps. First, soak your skewers in a bowl of warm water for a minimum of 20 minutes. I also cut the white and light green parts of the green onion or scallion into 1 inch or 2.5 centimeter lengths. Since I'm going to make 10 yakitori skewers, I will need about 50 pieces. After you've cut the green onion or scallions, just set them aside for a moment. The other thing that I always like to do before cutting up and marinating, especially chicken, I like to give it a rinse in a light vinegar water wash. So in a big bowl like this one, I add about 1 tablespoon of white vinegar and let the chicken thighs rest for a few minutes. Then give them a little bit of a rub and rinse them under running water. In order that the teriyaki glaze will stick to the skin, make sure that you pat dry the chicken thighs. The next thing I do is I cut the thighs into 1 inch or 2.5 centimeter cubes. You don't want big cubes. What's important is that they're kind of on the small side and all the cubes are about the same size. This way they'll grill more evenly. Then place the chicken cubes into a bowl and add the Keto Teriyaki glaze. I'm going to use the version that does not have the sesame seeds in it. Then just stir or toss until the chicken cubes are well coated. Cover the bowl with cling wrap and let it marinate for 1 hour. The other thing I'd like to suggest is you can do this as a prep ahead and do all of these steps and then just let it marinate overnight. The other thing that's also a really handy trick is make however many skewers you're going to use for this particular meal. Do all the steps, cut up and marinate the chicken cubes, and then store them in a freezer-safe container and freeze them as a prep ahead meal for next time. To prepare the skewers, it's super easy. Fold 1 cube of chicken in half and insert the soaked bamboo, or if you prefer, a metal skewer. But make sure you're inserting through the middle of the meat. The next thing you do is place 1 length of green onion or scallion, again piercing through the center and sliding it down your skewer. Slide the chicken and the onion to the other end of the skewer, the paddle side. Then repeat until you have alternatively added 5 or 6 chicken sections and 5 onion sections to each skewer. That's how you assemble it. All you have to do now is just prepare the remaining skewers in the same way. Then scoop up some of the remaining teriyaki glaze and drizzle it over the skewers. When you're ready to grill, preheat your oven to broil, or 460 degrees Fahrenheit or 238 Celsius. In order that my chicken yakitori does not stick to the wire rack, I like to prep for oven grilling by brushing oil on the rack, which I place on top of a baking sheet to catch any drippings from the chicken or sauce. Place the yakitori skewers on top of this wire rack, but leave space between the skewers to allow for heat flow. Transfer everything into the top third position of your oven and set your timer for 6 minutes. When your timer goes off, remove from the oven, flip all the skewers, and drizzle 1 teaspoon of Keto Teriyaki glaze over the central part of each length of skewer. Lastly, return the tray back into the oven and grill for 3 to 4 minutes to caramelize the glaze. At this point, your yakitori will be done, so just take them out of the oven. And here they are, they're ready to serve and enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Now for a tasty history of yakitori recipes. The first thing that I think you should do is understand what the word yakitori means. It is a compound of 2 Japanese words, yaki, to grill, and tori, bird. According to literature, the style of skewing birds other than chicken appeared around 1700. I thought it would be much older than that, so I found that interesting. Another interesting fact I learned is that in the Buddhist belief, eating most livestock, including chicken, was prohibited in Japan for a very long time, with the exceptions being sparrows, because they were harmful to rice cultivation. There were a few other wild birds that were also allowed to be eaten, such as quails and pheasants, which most people would hunt. It is believed that this wild bird yakitori is more than 1,300 years old, even though meat eating became possible after the Meiji Restoration in 1868. Chicken meat was very expensive and considered a luxury food in Japan. Rearing domestic livestock was not popular. So even at this time, yakitori was still not a popular dish for ordinary people. So when did yakitori become popular? So yakitori only became popular around 1960, after people began to raise poultry broilers. Broilers are a breed of chicken that is bred and raised specifically for meat production. And as a result, it increased the availability of much cheaper chicken. Therefore, since the 60s, many popular yakitori restaurants have opened, resulting in the increased availability and popularity of yakitori. The other thing that we learned was that the current term yakitori not only refers to chicken meat, but also could include pork or beef meat and some organ meats, but they're all served on this kind of skewer. So if you are in Japan, make sure that you ask, because if you simply ask for yakitori, the main ingredient may not always be chicken. And here's a diagram showing the different parts of the chicken that are used to make chicken yakitori. I hope that you have found this chicken yakitori recipe something that you would like to try. I hope you do. It's really good. And please let me know what you thought of the little bit of information on the origin and history of yakitori. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you come back when I post my next one. Until then, have a very happy and healthy day. Cheers!